my family has like a philosophy, a motto, which is totally weird that we have that, but it's you have something to do, something to love, and something to look forward to. That's all you need in life. Hang out. And like I've always like dealt with any like serious like sort of panic issues or anything like that with meditation in various forms, various like short mantras, long mantras. So traditionally, like when I'm being creative, which is what my real idea of wellness is, right? Like I try to write every day. When I do, I'll write 10, 15 pages a day. I will put all of those pages to music.
Welcome to the Collaborative Resource Hub by Wellness Provisions. We're bridging the gap between mental health, wellness, and rock and roll. I'm Amy McBride, owner of Wellness Provisions, the most badass wellness business. Hey, are you feeling a little stuck in life? I offer wellness coaching sessions. Book a session with me if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead. Sessions are available worldwide. And check this out. Wellness Provisions supplies rock and rollers with high-quality supplements. We've simplified your shopping experience and given you a trustworthy place to go where you can essentially shop blindfolded. And did you know all our Collaborative Resource Hub interviews air on YouTube as well as all major podcast platforms? Subscribe to stay in the loop. Go immerse yourself in the full Collaborative Resource Hub experience over on our website. You'll have access to helpful resources that will inspire and educate you. So let's inspire each other. If that guy did it, so can you. Last but not least, my legal disclaimer. Nothing in this interview or the Collaborative Resource Hub substitutes medical advice. Please connect with your GP if you need medical guidance. Brendan from Lawrence Arms, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. I'm coming off of 2 years of a pandemic, so I'm about as good as you can be, having like dealt with the slings and arrows of just the physical and mental decay that comes along with. There's some people that worked out a lot and read a lot of books and reached out to their friends and stuff. I'm not one of those people. I didn't do any of those things. I just kind of
what'd you do instead?
I worked out for a long time. I was like doing this like super hardy regimen of working out, and then once it got to be winter again and we're still stuck inside. I live in Chicago, so it's very cold, right? And so once it got to be winter, the second time during the lockdown, I was like, fuck this. I'm not. I'm just gonna, it was actually very freeing. It was like, oh, I can kind of like let this all go, and like, is my wife gonna be like angry at me that I'm like just like sleeping in and sitting around? Yeah, oh yeah. But is it exactly what like I needed to just like be like, well, this is how I'm dealing with this now. I've already done dealing with it the other way, and so yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I think I'm excited to like really like I think things are like opening up a lot right now, and I just did a tour. It was weird, but it was great, and it was really validating in terms of like not like, I need the validation of people coming out to my shows and loving me, but in terms of like, oh, the world is going to work again.
Yes.
Like it wasn't about me so much. Oh, it wasn't not about me. You
can own the fact that it felt good to be doing what you love doing,
Yeah, I mean, like it just, yeah. And what's funny is like, I feel like I said this to somebody else. I'm like, my identity is so tied to what I do that like to not be able to do it for 2 years, and whoever I was talking to was like, everybody's fucking identity is tied to what they do. What the fuck are you talking about? I was like, right, that is true.
No, but mine more, man. Yeah.
Fair play. I'm just being a myopic asshole. It's almost like I'm the kind of guy that stands on a platform in a crowded room and then is the only one with a loudspeaker. It's like,
it was a reality check, but it's good that a lot of people could use the time, advantageously. Is that a word?
Yeah, for sure. It's a word. Yeah. And good for them, but also fuck them, because like, I didn't do that. And
but that was your choice. And it was what you needed for that period of time. Like come the second winter, it was what you needed. So that's all right.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I don't really tend to besmirch anybody's choices unless they're like choices that hurt other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like murder. That's usually not good.
Yeah, not totally into that, but I mean, I could see it being cool in like certain situations.
There is a time and a place.
Yeah, it's like if you're like going down to the grade school and like putting kids in your van, I don't see any possible way that I'd be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're like, yeah, you're beating the shit out of the guy that did that until he dies to your child,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. By
So
all means.
murder. Here's where we're at so far on the wellness podcast. Murder acceptable, child molesting not.
Yeah. So, what does wellness or well-being mean to you?
The thing is, I don't know really. It's something that I think is like constant. It's a moving target for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just were talking about. It's like the first half of this, I was like exercising a lot, and then the second half of it, I stopped completely and got into cooking. And both of those are like cool things. I'm so Italian. Like I have to say, I already cooked a lot before, but I just got into like cooking vegetables and stuff, and like doing like vegan meals and stuff like that. And I don't think that like a vegan meal is like the solution to your problems, at all. But if it makes you feel good, like it made me feel good just to prepare it and have something to focus on. And I think that's, for me, that is the thing, is if my family has like a philosophy or a motto, I guess, which is totally weird that we have that, but it's you have something to do, something to love, and something to look forward to. That's all you need in life.
Yeah.
And to me, I think I'm in the goddamn family. So yeah, of course, I think that's the case.
You have to buy into it. You're obligated.
Yeah. And gosh, okay. So my brain does this thing where like it won't like continue to work when I get like a thing in my head. What's the difference between obligated and obliged? Right?
Right? I think obligated is you have to do it. Obliged is
like you'd be obliged to do that. Like that's the same.
yeah. I feel like it's more like a polite thing. Like you want to, maybe there's some more like actual desire behind it as opposed to just like, well, I have no choice.
Right. Yeah. Obligated it removes all heart and soul from it.
Yeah.
And obliged,
my guess.
Like, because you'd be like, I'm obliged to help you because
that's always like people do that when like they want, like they're actually like being nice about it.
Yeah.
I also don't like that word. I don't ever use that word.
Nobody uses that word.
I know a few people that do.
Oh, I hate them. I'm just kidding.
And now my friend count has gone down a few. Has there been anything healthy that you've incorporated into your life, like specifically that's improved your creativity?
No. In fact, my creativity has I don't want to say suffered because I've written some really great songs, like not some really great songs, some songs I really like, I should say. I'm not trying to be prescriptive about anything like that, and I'm definitely not trying to put my dick on the table. But no, it's not like all of a sudden I started like doing like one of those like oxygen masks every day, and like now I'm like writing a great American novel or anything. Yeah. It's more like, like I said, like I got into kind of vegan cooking when I stopped exercising. I mean, it's like so like piecemeal, and it's like just step by step. I mean, like I'm going raft to raft here, just trying to get by. Like it's not the easiest thing to navigate. I mean, there's no real precedent for it in my lifetime. So traditionally, like when I'm being creative, which is what my real idea of wellness is, right? Like I try to write every day. But when I do, I'll write 10, 15 pages a day. I will put all of those pages to music, and they'll all suck. But I know, I'm smart enough to know, or I'm dumb enough to know, I know myself well enough to know, I should say, that's fine that they suck, because it's only when everything goes completely tits up and you're just like, I suck at this. I can't, it's been 10 days, I've written 100 pages and none of it's good. Fuck it, I'm doing this. And then that's when you write like the thing that's great, you know?
You got to get everything else out first.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only when like, this is a fucking weird reference. And this could basically probably be my quote at the end of this if I hadn't just gone into it now. But in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, in the third book, Life, the Universe, and Everything, by Douglas Adams. I don't know if you've read it. It's a wonderful, wonderful series. It's like Kurt Vonnegut in that it's a lot better than you think it's going to be. Okay. You know, because like of like the people surrounding it. You know, you're like, I don't need this like freshman in college telling me what's cool. Like, and then you read it and you're like, oh fuck, this is awesome. But the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series is really great. I've reread it. I mean, there's 5 books in it, I think, and I've reread it, and it's a trilogy, which is also great. But there's 5 books, and
mathematically sound.
Yes, and I've read it like probably like half a dozen times, and
just in the last like 2 years, year and a half.
No. Since I was a kid, yeah. But the main character, Arthur Dent, he's learning to fly, right? And he's like, the secret to learning to fly is you have to throw yourself at the ground and miss. And if you miss, you're up there. And that's how I feel about creative output. It's like you gotta like just be like, fuck this, and then just like, and then all of a sudden you're like, yo, now this shit is good because who the fuck would have thought of this? You know, it's almost like you turn on like the sort of organic AI in your brain, which I know it's like a fundamental contradiction in terms, you know, and then like when you really get in there and you're unconscious because you're furious at yourself, that's when the good stuff comes out. And that is like self-care to me, and wellness is making something that you can be proud of, even just if it's just for you. Yeah. Like, I mean, I guess Emily Dickinson didn't exactly die of natural causes, but you know, she made all that stuff for herself.
Have you ever so you've written like 10 pages of what you would deem as garbage, but have you looked back at it like later on and been like, oh, there's some good stuff in here? Like just
every once in a while that happens. And you know, it also I mean, you know, it's just like your life jukes and shifts, and like you're facing a different direction all of a sudden. And so like the stuff that you were like writing about back here at the beginning of this notebook, I should have brought my notebook down, I could show it to you. It's disgusting. But you know, sometimes it's like, that's a really like much more interesting thing. I mean, I do have a problem because I have like a neurosis. There's a few things that few terms I really hate that I feel like they're all going to come up here on this show. But one of them is when people are like, oh, my OCD won't let me do that. I'm like, you don't have OCD. You like a clean house. Okay. That's very different than like, I've got to flip on the fucking light switch 9 times and like touch my belt exactly the right way before I can leave the room. Like that's a crippling mental condition. Yeah. You know, and for you to just like be like, oh man, no, I need my dog to get a haircut like every 3 days. It's like, fuck you. Yeah. Like it's just not fair, and it's not cool. And so I'm not trying to say that at all, but I do have like just a general neurosis about my work. I don't feel like if I'm like going back and re-examining it, I don't know that I feel like as validated if it's old, if I'm like repurposing it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, even though I made it, it's like, that's not you anymore. That's the old you. I mean, and this is why I write so much, probably.
But what about what about play, like if you're, you know, playing a show and you're playing songs that you wrote like 5 years ago or something, and that's not you anymore, you can still sing it.
No, but that's a whole different experience. That's the visceral experience of connecting with people.
Okay.
The writing process to me is all very personal. It's all about like, can I make this good enough that I would show it to someone else? and that's, but I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily very logical at all. But it's just how I feel. And like, yeah, and like I love it if it wasn't, because I got pages and pages and books of shit that I could probably turn into cool songs. But like,
maybe you could do like an album that's actually find some gems out of that and call the album like "This Isn't Me Anymore."
it's not a terrible idea. I just decided that my next record is going to be a ska record, so I'm full of bullshit right now.
All right. What are some ways that you deal with like rejection or adversity?
I suppose there's like a kind of a big two there. Number one is through some kind of like self-depreciating humor, right? And the other is like straight up not giving a shit and just going forward. I have I think I'm the only person that's ever been banned from the Warped Tour, and they have rapists on that thing. And sorry, I guess like since it's a wellness podcast, I should have said
no, just the fact that's the scenario. I don't care that the topic.
Yeah. And I was banned because I was yelling at them for not being thoughtful towards the attendees and how expensive the water was and how hot it was and how there was no shade.
Yeah.
And, and how the ambulances were coming in and out and they weren't doing anything to whatever. You get the idea. It's classic, like punk rock guy goes, this place is fucking bullshit. And next time we come back here, it's going to be in the DIY club and the water's going to be free. Right. Right. That's it. By the time I got off stage, I had a cell phone at the time. It was like 2001. It was 2001. So not a lot of people had cell phones.
Right.
And I'm like, 35 messages. This is odd. And like, it was my booking agent. Like the dudes in my band were like, dude, what the fuck? And then like we're kicked off the Warped Tour. And then like we didn't get signed to the major label that we were supposed to get signed to, and all this shit. And everybody was like, you need to apologize, do this and that. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I stand by it, and my dudes were like, if you really believe, like, we're with you. We don't love it, but we're with you. And my wife yelled at me. She was my girlfriend at the time. She was like, if you're gonna be out there going on tour, being away from me, you need to, like sort of kiss every ring that you have to in order to be out there. And I was like, no. And my booking agent was like, you're really making this hard on me. And I was like, yeah, oops. And then, but then the world turned and everybody realized the Warped Tour was a bunch of bullshit. And then I'm on, like, there's my Wikipedia page is like all about how like we got banned from the Warped Tour and we're the only band that's ever been banned from the Warped Tour, even specifically just me. And then people were like, this guy's actually a hero, and it was, but it took 8 years of me looking like a complete asshole to everybody. So
I don't even understand how, like, unless let's say like you're like misquoted or something, if that's literally what you were speaking up about, that's just like having conviction of good things. Like, I don't.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When you think of conviction in this sort of larger circle, you're thinking of Ian MacKaye, right? Like he's conviction, if conviction was a guy. And it's really easy to have a lot of conviction when you're Ian MacKaye because everybody fucking loves him. And he's been in like 2 of the most important bands of all time. Right. And I'm not trying to, like, he had to invent that too, by the way. Like, I love Minor Threat and Fugazi are 2 of my favorite bands of all time. And I think he is a genius. Okay. And he created the idea of like sort of like punk rock conviction. And at times, I will say, at times I feel like it's a little bit overblown. Like when he's like, sir, no dancing, sir. You know, like that kind of shit. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. You gotta like I just want to hand him like the like from the F section of the dictionary, the page that has the word fun in it. You know, but when you do it and it's just like you have conviction, nobody likes that. Nobody. Not your friends, not your bandmates, not your wife, not your booking agent. No, nobody was like, ooh, way to stand up for people. Everybody was like, you just made my life a lot more fucking difficult. And you know, and so it's like it's a hard thing to sit through, but you fucking sit through it, you know, and then hopefully you're vindicated by history, you know, like that's me and George W. Bush, you know. Um, but yeah, it's like I wouldn't change a second of it. And actually, it turned out to be like one of the best. I hate to use this term, career moves we've ever made.
Really?
Yeah, like it seriously, like once everybody started like flocking away from the Warp Tour, they were like, this band is like the anti-Warp Tour band. Cool. You know, and it really was like it was really good for us. But it took a lot of patience and me being on a lot of phone calls, being like, yes, okay, no, not gonna do that. Nope, okay. Really? You're still gonna? Okay. All right. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Bye. You know, like.
Here's an advert in less than 20 seconds. Did you know that Wellness Provisions offers one-on-one wellness sessions? Yep. So if you're seeking to get healthy and ahead in life, but feeling a little stuck, then book a session and let's get you unstuck. Now back to the interview. And maybe then too, if there's anything you remember doing at the time, how do you balance stress on a day-to-day? Or were there things that you were doing when all of that shit was, you know, hitting the fan that you know, tried to stay balanced?
Well, no, I mean, like in those days, I was young enough that like my brain hadn't started like malfunctioning yet, you know, like, and like I didn't have a lot of panic attacks and stuff like that. I was just like, you know, I just like go to the bar and hang out. And I've always like dealt with any like serious like sort of panic issues or anything like that with meditation in various forms, various like short mantras, long mantras, transcendental always. I used to be into like sort of single word mantra kind of stuff, and now I'm into recitation. That's like one of the things with transcendental meditation. I can't say what it is or anything like that, but it's not anything you'd expect, I'll tell you that. And now I might want to change my quote though all of a sudden. Oh no, I have two quotes now.
Okay,
but
them, save them for later.
Yeah, but so like, you know, it's like this like recitation that I can do, and it's like I barely ever get through the whole thing, but if I do, I can just go back and start it again. It just helps like center and balance me. You know, that like shaky feeling of, well, I mean, I don't know if you do, but the shaky feeling of like panic like welling up, and then all of a sudden it's like you're panicking so hard that like your brain is on the panic loop, and it's like just in very much the same way that like your brain's like, hey, I'm used to being drunk, so hey, where's my drink? It's the same thing with panic.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I'm used to panicking, where's my panic? And so it'll go back and it'll be like, oh, remember when you said that to your dad? And you're like, oh man, I don't think I wanted to think about that right now. But it is really true. I employ a lot of like different sorts of like a pretty, I would say, patchwork version of transcendental meditation.
okay.
And I do like, I know one of your things was like sobriety, but that's not really my bag. Uh, I also like going out and like kind of, I hate the term blowing off steam because it sounds just gross and like something that like a rapist would say, but like just like I, you know what I mean though? Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like I was just blowing off steam with the boys. It's like yeah, but like but so I like to go out and relax with my friends, or like have them over or whatever. But and on tour, it's the same. It's the same, and it's just like the important thing on tour is to just sleep as every single second you possibly can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the healthiest thing you can do. They say that an hour sleeping is better for your like metabolism and like muscle tone than an hour at the gym.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, and like you lose most of your weight weirdly. I know what you're thinking, through shitting. No, that's not true. It's through breathing.
Whoa.
And it's like deep REM, or like the deep like nocturne sleep or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting that wrong a little bit, but that's where you like do the breathing. That's where you lose your weight. Like I was always like, well, I mean, I figure you put food in here, and then if more comes out here, you lose weight, But it it turns out
But I
it's
guess
breathing.
it gets your metabolism going more, so you're just burning
Yeah,
more.
I don't. I'm not. I'm no big city biologist, so I don't really know. But
But hey, technically, then this second phase, that second winter of the pandemic, with sleeping in, I'm pretty sure you were losing weight then, right?
yes, that's why I'm as beautiful as I am right now, as you can see on this Zoom. Um, I don't like how hard you laughed at that, by the way.
Okay, so sleeping is important on tour. What else do you do you try and do to stay healthier and to feel better when you're on tour?
Well, you only have so many things. Being on tour is like having a Swiss Army knife from that kid that was the neighbor in Toy Story. Right? It's like a lot of the things are broken off, and the things that are in there weren't supposed to be in there in the first place. So you've got like, what do you have? You have sleep, you have maintaining a relationship with the people that you're gonna have to be around 24 hours a day, no matter what. You have the show.
Mm-hmm.
You have before the show. You have actual food, and you have what we call snack time USA, which is when you go to a gas station, right? And in all those cases, it's just like you have to play a little bit of zone defense. Like, all right, I'm not going to be able to do a lot of this properly today. So here I am at Snack Time USA. I'm going to get the almonds instead of the Cheetos, and like I'm going to get the coconut water instead of the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And then that night when you're at the club and you've played the show and you're starving and your tour manager brings you a pizza, you can be like, well, I had the almonds and the coconut water earlier today. That's fine. And then like you can forgive yourself. It's just all a weird, fucked up jigsaw puzzle of not hating yourself. You know what I mean? And like, and being able to be like, yo, I made these choices today, so I can make these choices tonight, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's making the best decision you can in each moment.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is though, like, and I think that this is overlooked a lot, particularly in like, I would assume this sort of forum. Being on tour is fun as shit, and sometimes you just want to wild out, and like every once in a while, it's like, oh man, we drank that whole bottle of whiskey, and then we ate that entire fried chicken. That was awesome,
Yeah.
and that's good too. But it's just like fucking, what's the opposite of koyaanisqatsi, right? Because that means life out of balance, and then you need life in balance, and you can't have it when you live in a van with 5 other fart machines. But you can do your best, whatever. It's like I'm not writing fucking Under My Thumb by the Rolling Stones either.
Yeah.
I could do my best to write something like that. Not that
Yeah.
I even like that song very much. I don't know why I chose that.
But that's what came to your head.
Yeah.
I like the what is it, Down Home Girl or whatever, that song that they do. The Mummies covered it, and I love the Mummies version. And you know what song I'm talking about?
I don't know what song you're talking about. I'm not like I grew when I was like very like I was 10 when I first got a Dead Milkmen album, and so I have a shocking dearth of knowledge when it comes to mainstream music because I always was just into punk rock. And I have another quote. God damn it!
All right, let's do it. Let's hear some quotes now.
Okay.
Come on.
My first one is these are all three like two-person quotes.
Okay.
Okay, it's like a back and forth. The first one is I'm so sorry, I'm about to disappoint you so much with these. First one is Steven, this is Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango. Okay, because that's Google it. I can't even. It's one of the greatest. Second is and that's from Matt Berry from the show Toast of London, and then the second is everything was going fine until Dickless here shut off the power grid. Is that true? Yes, this man has no dick, which is from Ghostbusters. Bill Murray, 100% positive he wrote that entire thing. And then finally, what are you looking at? I thought I was looking at my mom's old douchebag, but that's back in Ohio. And that's from Revenge of the Nerds.
Those are all good movies.
Yeah, well, Revenge of the Nerds is like aged pretty poorly.
Has it? I mean, I haven't watched it.
Well, I mean, like he kind of like pretends to be someone else to bang the chick that's not his old lady.
So maybe now it's socially unacceptable.
I think now it's definitely socially unacceptable. But I know these aren't the kinds of quotes that you were looking for. These aren't the quotes you're looking for. But I trade in the notion that like lowbrow humor it can be the highest of philosophy. So I believe that all of those quotes, and I can even go through it. Clem Fandango is about just absolutely motherfucking somebody that's being an asshole to you and just having fun with it because it's the only thing you can do. The second one was kind of the same, but also standing up for yourself in such a way that maybe it'll take 8 years for you to get out of it, but but you can. And then finally, my actual quote that I wanted to do is it's also very insurgent, right? I guess they're all kind of variants on the same theme, but you could be dismissive as well. You know, what are you looking at? That's a guy that wants to fucking punch someone in the face, and then thought I was looking at my mom's old douchebag, but that's back in Ohio. It's like self-depreciating and also like go fuck yourself. You're not phasing me,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think there is actually like a wellness aspect to all those quotes, even though they're all kind of like stupid. And here, let me tell you what my second thing is, because we were almost there. Remember when I told you that I told you that there's two terms that I despise. We discussed one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is when people are like, I'm just being zen about this. Because zen is one of the most intense methods of fucking meditation that has ever been created. The dude, gosh, I was gonna say the dude in Cambodia, but I realized that I'm old and the audience is probably not. The dude on the cover of the Rage Against the Machine album that's on fire, that dude was practicing Zen when they set him on fire and he sat there.
Oh, I don't know that from the album cover, but Mark Manson, who wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, he wrote his other book about like not losing hope. That was mentioned, and there's a photograph of it. And yeah, he lit himself on fire, and it was like in the middle of the street, right?
Yeah.
And
he was like kind of in front of some tanks,
yeah.
and he lit himself on fire, and he just sat there. Like Zen Buddhists, one thing that they do, which I think is very strange, but like this has come up time and time again, and I've like kind of like corroborated this, is they'll take a whole sheet of acid and put it in their mouth and like take it, and then they'll like have people like check their vitals while they're meditating, and it doesn't change at all. They're able to completely like still anything from like sort of like orgiastic ecstasy of like a drug overdose to being burned alive, right? And so when like, and I apologize, this is probably gonna sound maybe sexist or something, I don't know, but when some dumb live laugh love lady is like, yeah, I'm just being zen about this, I'm like, the fuck you are. You would know zen if it came up and set you on fire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah.
it's very, very intense. Like what you mean is you're doing transcendental. You're being transcendental about it. And like I know it's stupid. It's like a dumb hair to split, but like at the same time, bugs me.
Yeah, that's fair. I was also gonna use, you said the stupid live, laugh, love. I was gonna say some dumb bitch. So yours is probably nicer than what I was gonna say.
Well, all right. So, woo.
If you remember on my submission form, I put down at the bottom that like basically all jokes go here, and I don't get offended. My audience, however, may, but I don't.
Yeah. Well, I like to hope. I'm trying to be zen about it.
Yeah, it seems like it. No, but that's a good point. I was just talking to my friend, and there's two things that have been bugging me. I just feel like these words are just overused, and they're just kind of like the OCD. They're just being thrown around too much.
Yeah.
And triggered and toxic. Everything and everyone's toxic now. And if you just respond with some, force about something, oh, you were triggered. No, I just
yeah. And the funny thing is that triggered, or like the idea of triggering or whatever you want to say, is something that was like created sort of in I would say like a very like niche sort of like part of, I guess, the internet, like the hive mind, whatever you want to call it, in order to be like, yo, you might not want to read this, right? And then all of a sudden the white men got a hold of it and we're like, holy fucking shit, triggered. Yeah, let's just yell that at people they made it more of a word than anybody like ever did in like the sort of like lesbian Latina community or whatever the fuck it was, that like, like it's just like nobody loves that word more than those people. And like and also the people that are the most triggered on this earth are the people at the extreme like barbell ends of society. So it's like, if you're like hard to say this, but it sounded fucked up. If you're just like a female college student with bangs, like just like right up at the very top of where your hairline is, and that's dyed pink, and you're just like wearing glasses and at some kind of rally, yeah, gotcha. And if you're Eric Trump, equally the same.
Yeah.
Radical
just on either side.
And it's just like, and you're just an asshole. I don't know. Like can't you just like sit there and accept that you're just kind of an asshole? I mean, that's what the rest of us do.
But that's also kind of I don't know. I always thought that was interesting, either extreme, whichever, right or left. the behaviors are the same. It's just like the same, angry or violent or whatever. The expression is the same.
You've got to be lockstep with me or you're against me. And and you know what? Violence is justified, and
right.
And all this. And it's like, it's fucked up. I mean, I even consider myself to be a radical leftist, but still, I'm like, listen, I still watch Revenge of the Nerds again, shit. So it's
yeah. We could end up going down a whole rabbit hole. So which I don't think I want to do on recording this. So the tagline for my business is delay dying. And I like to ask if you could give advice to someone on how to delay dying, or in other words, just live happier and healthier, what would it be?
I don't know. I'm a terrible person to ask about this. But
what would you tell your kid?
Now, the most important thing, I think, is to, because I don't believe in all the things that everybody believes in at all. Like, I've seen people that smoke cigarettes until they're 95.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people that eat, nothing but fucking, steaks and Cheetos.
Yeah.
Cheetos are really coming up a lot today.
Yeah.
I've seen people that just like drink like fishes. I mean, I've seen people that are old to do cocaine. You know what I mean? It's like you're 100% dominated by your genetics, and your genetics will hook you up or they will throw you in a ditch. And I mean, if you're gonna fucking go out and party, take the next day off and fucking get some exercise and like drink a little water, But the main thing is, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to turn what they do for a living into something that they love, Like there's single moms out there that like work at this Wendy's and then sleep in the parking lot and they go to work at that Wendy's, So it's like, but I think that in order to live a life that is happy, and I think that it also will extend your life a lot, it's important to find something you love, even if it's like a fucking comic book that you read in the parking lot between shifts, even if it's just like a Phil Collins song that you listen to on the drive, and just like something that you can feel like is your thing that makes you feel whole, and it's like, for me, I get to write songs and I get to read Gunter Grass and I get to read Mikhail Bulgakov and Salman Rushdie and stuff like that, and Joseph Heller, and like I mean I'm really into reading, I guess, and which you got no quotes from any of those, like very very talented writers. You got one from fucking Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. but sorry, my laugh is gonna sucks, but
I'm gonna just like cut your laugh, or like take it and then just multiply it a bunch.
That sounds okay too. But yeah, I think that's what else can you do? Like you can't count on your genetics, and you can't beat them either.
Yeah.
I mean, you could overdose on heroin or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if your genetics want you to be alive for a long time, you're probably going to be alive for a long time, And so, yeah, drink a little water, try not to party every single day, and find something you love, no matter how small it is, even if it's a fucking fish. I mean, that is enough. It's just like anything that can make your heart like feel like something else besides a machine is enough.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what I think.
I like it. I approve. Do you guys have anything cool coming up or coming out that you want to share on?
We have an annual series of shows called War on Christmas. I don't think we've announced it officially yet, but it doesn't matter. I'll talk about it now. Usually it's 3 nights. This year, just based on the pandemic and everything, it's going to be 2. So the tickets will be very hard to get. So we have some good support acts. So if you guys like the Lawrence Arms, if you guys don't like the Lawrence Arms, I can't imagine you still are listening. But but if you do, yeah, just keep your eyes out for tickets. It is actually happening. There's been
I feel like if tickets are limited, you guys need to like have people call in like you used to on the radio with the telephone.
That would be amazing.
Really amp up the experience of getting them.
I love it. Not enough to actually do that though, because as it stands, I don't have to collect any tickets. You know what I mean? The club does that, so
right.
But yeah, that's about it, I think. I have a blog called Bad Sandwich Chronicles Beyond Thunderdome that I'd like for you all to subscribe to, because it's got a lot of this same sort of like dick slapping prose that I'm trying to espouse here.
Yes, sweet. All right, anything else you want to leave everybody with, or are you good? Any more fabulous quotes?
You know, you're going to say what you want to say. You're going to hear what you don't want to hear. Roberto Bolaño, 2666, one of the greatest books of all time.
That's a good one.
That one was just appropriate for the show, I think.
Yeah, and we can just wrap it up and put a bow on it. And thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts and humor and you know, how you write songs and or select the good ones. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been a blast.
Winter flames, winter trains, winter cloud on the wheels.